morning, everyone. I'm Lisa Hernandez.
And I'm Russ Lewis. We're glad you're with us this morning. Let's start with Cheetah. Let's talk about where the worst of the rain is right now.
Well, right now it's pretty much east of town, but I do have to say, actually, the heaviest rain that we've seen so far this morning, it was right over the Addicks Reservoir. That's where we saw over 2 inches of rain that happened between about 1 to 3 a.m. this morning. So even though we are actually mostly dry, I'm going to say generally west of 45 here, north and southbound, we are expecting 1, redevelopment, and 2, you've already seen some really heavy rainfall early this morning. It may have even woken you up this morning. But let me zoom on in, because from Liberty County, Eastern Harris County, Chambers County, you can even see crossing over I-10 there. That's where we're seeing really heavy rainfall right now. So Liberty, you are getting pounding, blinding rain, even over Baytown. Starting to work eastward now from Baytown, but you get the idea. It's well east of town. A few showers setting up just west of Huntsville area, but this is only the beginning. I'm expecting right during your lunchtime hour, strong cells to push through. So your day part planner, rain is in the forecast through the afternoon, late morning into your midday. Make sure you have the rain gear. We could be talking upwards of 1 to 3 inches of rain, widespread isolated amounts, upwards of 4. We are under that flash flood watch. So Darby, you know, rain on the roadways, even though it has a lot of areas already passed, it's just a mess.
Yeah, it has wreaked havoc to traffic pretty much the whole east side of town. We've got 3 problems, well, I say 2 problems on I-10, the Baytown East Freeway. We had 3, but an accident with an 18-wheeler. You can see the slow traffic here. I-10 westbound before 45 has cleared, so traffic should start to recover, trying to get through the downtown area. Or will it? Because we're in the 6 o'clock hour now. But we've got a big accident with an 18-wheeler, I-10 westbound San Jacinto River. You can see with our Houston TransStar shot, it was an 18-wheeler that shifted low, and it was partially on the bridge overpass there, hanging over. Looks like they're getting that straightened up, and they're now letting a left lane get through. Then I found this too. I-10, the Baytown East Freeway outbound, just past Uvalde. We've got an accident here taking up a couple of lanes, so even outbound traffic is going to be slow on I-10. But coming in from Baytown, don't do it. It's 91 minutes to get from the Grand Parkway to 45. I'm recommending taking 146 southbound to Highway 225, which is exactly what Michelle Choi did. She's trying to make her way through LaPorte. How's it looking out there, Michelle?
Well, Darby, just take a look. We are in our weather tracker. You can see we've got our windshield wipers on full blast. It's raining, and that's what you're going to deal with pretty much throughout the morning until we get a little bit of a break, as Cheetah mentioned. Anyways, we're leaving LaPorte and headed towards the Gulf Freeway at the 610 South Loop, where we're hearing reports of high water. So we're going to go check that out and see how conditions are out there. But we're going to be in our weather tracker monitoring roads all morning for you guys to make sure that your commute is safe today. So definitely grab your umbrellas, grab your jackets. It's going to be a wet and soggy one. So you're going to want to take it easy out on the roadways. Give yourself a few extra minutes before you head out the door. Guys, back to you.
Good advice, Michelle Choi. Thank you. And stay on top of the weather with the KHOU 11 News app. It's easy to use right on your phone. You can get radar, weather cams, and the latest forecast. We're also on Facebook Live. You can follow along with Michelle Choi in the weather tracker as they monitor conditions out on the roads. We'll be updating the situation throughout the morning.
And we're staying on top of our breaking news this morning. HPD really dealing with some heartache this morning after losing one of its best.
Yeah, a K-9 officer named Ronnie, 7 years on the force, had to be euthanized overnight after suffering severe injuries during pursuit of a suspect. Let's go live to our Janelle Ford, who's live outside that animal hospital where vets tried to treat him. Janelle, what can you tell us?
Well, the chief told us that Ronnie died going after a bad guy. Here's a photo of Ronnie that the chief just tweeted. Now, the chief told us that it all started with an overnight chase. Ronnie and his officer partner were trying to stop a stolen vehicle. At some point during the chase, the suspect got out of the car and ran into some woods. Now, Ronnie spotted him and took off trying to catch him. But while he was charging full speed, he got his leg stuck on some sort of log. Ronnie broke his leg pretty badly. Now, officers had to carry him out the woods. They brought him to this animal hospital where vets said there was nothing they could do for him.
The suspect has been captured thanks to Ronnie on his last act, who flushed him out and was in the process of chasing him down when he got injured. And sadly, about 2:45, we had to put him down.
Now, the chief says this is a tough loss for HPD. Ronnie had 7 years of service under his belt and had more than 250 captures. Now, the chief says while this is a tough loss for the city and for the department, he says Ronnie went out exactly how he would have wanted to. Guys.
Janelle, thank you for the update. It's 5 minutes after. And after the Florida school shooting, in just a few days since, threats have come in against at least 8 local schools. And we're showing you this map here. You can see they're all over the place. New overnight, we added Pearland High School to that list. The principal sent a letter to parents saying that a threatening phone call was found not to be credible. So that is good news. Brandy's here now to talk about this. And Brandy, the students who are making these threats locally, they're now facing some real consequences.
They absolutely are. And you have to wonder what these students are thinking, or if they're thinking at all. Some of them are charged with making a terroristic threat. That is a felony that goes on their permanent record.
This could affect them for the rest of their lives. I mean, a GED, are you even going to get into a decent college? Will the military even consider you? I don't know. Parents need to be parents.
Fort Bend County Sheriff Troy Nels says moms, dads, whoever is watching out for these kids, you should be checking everything they do online and on their phones.
When's the last time you maybe opened up the computer screen and started doing some research to see what your kids are looking at? When is the last time you took your son or your daughter's cell phone and actually went through it?
Elizabeth posted on Facebook that parents need to go even further. Go in their bedrooms, she wrote. Look under the beds, between the mattresses, drawers, closets. Turn it all upside down, inside out. Shirley's comment was directed right at parents, too. She says it's your responsibility to teach them right from wrong. Seriously, you cannot place blame on anyone but yourselves. Lisa, though, pointed out countless instances of parents doing their very best to bring up decent human beings. For whatever reason, these kids ignore their parents, give in to peer pressure, and adopt a dodgy set of ethics. Erin backed her up, writing that she's seen good kids raised by good parents that get in with the wrong crowd or have some sort of traumatic event, and they completely change. So we have seen several incidents locally where students are accused of calling in threats or posting threats about their schools. But I'm joined now by licensed professional counselor Bill Prasad. And Bill, this is something we're kind of seeing everywhere.
It is, and it isn't something that is new. I did a Google search that you've duplicated here, and you can see that incidents like this where students make threats, perhaps talking about using guns or are in photographs with guns, making threats on social media, they're out there. And even though what the Katy teen did was out of the norm, it's not completely off the grid. We're seeing a number of these incidents nationwide.
And how do you talk to your kids about something like this? How do you make sure that they're not making these kinds of threats?
You want to check in to see if they know about what happened with the Katy teenager first. What do they know, and do they understand what a threatening post would contain as far as the verbiage and a picture? You also want to talk about how this would frighten people, the consequences of doing that. Consequences could be felt when they're looking for a job or trying to get into a college, and then you have to really emphasize long-term consequences of how this post stays on the internet forever.
Yeah, nothing is ever erased fully off of the internet. Bill, thank you so much. We're going to hop on Facebook Live here in a couple minutes on the KHOU 11 News Facebook page. If you want to join us, if you have any questions about what to watch out for with your kids or how to have that conversation with your kids. Lisa?
Great advice there, Brandy. Bill, thank you so much. 6:08 the time right now, and it is time for your morning rush. First up here, a tangled mess of twisted metal in northwest Houston. The crash killed 2 people overnight. Police say it happened after an SUV ran a red light on Antoine and Westview and hit 2 other cars. The driver that ran that light did not survive. A passenger remains in critical condition. A Sugar Land father is praying the governor approves the parole board's recommendation to spare his son's life. Bart Whitaker is convicted of killing his family in 2003. His father survived and has asked his son be taken off death row. Whitaker is scheduled for execution on Thursday. Did you hear, or do you hear rather, the buzzing yet? Mosquito season is here, and those big old bugs are bringing the threat of Zika virus. Experts say it's still too early to know if the virus will arrive here in Houston, but now is the time to check for standing water around your home. Today, President George H.W. Bush and his wife will be on hand for the ribbon cutting of Big Brothers Big Sisters' new building on Washington Avenue, just north of downtown. Bush's grandson Pierce was the nonprofit's Texas CEO back in 2015, and that is your Morning Rush.
6:09. This is a live look from Hotel Galvez in Galveston. I'm showing you some of these blinking, flashing lights, and this may be the case with some brief power outages earlier this morning because of all the lightning that we've already seen. This is just the beginning of the rain that I'm expecting today, and I think the new development, redevelopment, will begin as early as 7, 8 a.m. for some of our extreme northwest counties, and then it'll continue to develop between about 9 to noon, and that'll continue to roll through the area. So even though the line of thunderstorms that I've been tracking since about 2 o'clock this morning is now kicking off east, new development is now already beginning northwest of town, and some of those storms are going to be on the strong side. So your day part planner, 7 a.m. this morning, about a 70% chance of an isolated shower to an isolated thunderstorm. That increases to about an 80% chance by your lunchtime hour. Temperatures will drop briefly, then they'll kick back up. Then overnight tonight, I still have about a 50% chance of a few scattered showers, but keep in mind the heaviest rain threat, even over the next 7 days, is today. Ponding and street flooding, Darby, are pretty much the primary concern, and you know that means a mess and slow goes on the road.
Yeah, and I'm going to try and show you some of that because there's so much going on out there. Most of it on I-10. I-10, the Baytown East Freeway outbound, just before you get to Uvalde, an accident takes up 2 left lanes. Traffic backing up to before Normandy. Our big story is trying to get out of Baytown on I-10. An accident with an 18-wheeler, shifted load. He was kind of hanging over the bridge at the San Jacinto River as you go westbound. Still working. They're only letting a left lane get through, and traffic's backed up to well before spur 330. Travel times 4. I-10, an hour and a half to make your way from the Grand Parkway to 45. I highly recommend using 146 southbound to 225 as your alternate route. Also, we've got problems here on Highway 288 northbound FM 518. Jackknifed 18-wheeler's been unjackknifed, but they're trying to get them off the freeway. They're still taking up the left lane. Traffic's backing up to before Bailey Road, so give yourself 10 minutes to get through that mess. Last but certainly not least, there was an accident Gulf Freeway inbound Broadway, already cleared up, but when you get past it, look for the high water in the exit ramp trying to go to the South Loop westbound towards NRG Stadium. Just be ready for that. It's going to be a little slow trying to get in on the Gulf Freeway as well.
Yeah, big old mess. Darby, thank you very much.
It is 6:12 this morning.